This morning about 4 a.m., we received a call for possible burglars in action. The caller reported that two males were driving through the neighborhood in a Toyota, an early model Toyota, and they were checking doors. In fact, we do have video showing the two suspects engaging in that sort of activity, going into driveways, checking door handles, burglarizing vehicles. When a deputy arrived at the intersection of Blacktail, Crest, and Bonito Bend, he observed the early 2000s model Toyota blacked out and fleeing the scene at a high rate of speed. The deputy attempted to turn his vehicle and engage in pursuing the vehicle. He activated his overhead lights, but then reported that he then lost sight of the vehicle. A secondary officer that was here at the intersection of Culebra reported seeing the vehicle cross in front of him at a high rate of speed. It does appear, by all accounts at this point, that when the deputies arrived on scene, the vehicle had already wrecked out and the two suspects were laying critically injured and were pronounced deceased here on the scene as a result of the crash itself. The one deputy that initiated his lights is going to be placed on administrative leave in accordance with our policies and procedures, and at some point he'll be moved to administrative duty pending the outcome of the investigation. Right now, Internal Affairs and our Public Integrity Unit, in accordance with our routine policies in cases like this involving a custodial death, they're handling this. They're two separate concurrent investigations, and of course we'll be awaiting those results as well. But at present, from what I can see, it does appear that our policies and procedures were complied with. Again, we'll wait till the outcome of the investigation. The suspects in this case are unidentified to this point. They both appear to be young Hispanic males. And the vehicle that they were driving at present, it's possible it is also a stolen vehicle that has not been discovered to be stolen yet. As a matter of fact, right now as we speak, our deputies are canvassing the neighborhoods, and they are finding now that vehicles were burglarized overnight, but the owners typically don't find these until they wake up in the morning and find the vehicle. The suspects in this case are both wearing gloves at this point. Again, in keeping with what we believe they were doing was burglarizing vehicles. So it's certainly a tragic loss of life. However, it should also be noted that these young men are deceased, unfortunately, as a result of some very, very poor choices on their part. Esta mañana, aproximadamente a las 4 de la mañana, nosotros recibimos una llamada de dos sospechosos que estaban entrando a carros y robando artículos de esos carros, checando las puertas para ver si estaban atrancadas y luego entrando a los carros. Ya uno de nuestros oficiales intentó contactar con los sospechosos cuando ellos huyeron de la escena a muy alta velocidad. Se aparenta que otro oficial vio que iban cruzando Culebra a muy alta velocidad sin luces en el carro. Desafortunadamente el carro se estrelló y los dos sospechosos fallecieron a causa del choque. Ahorita uno de los oficiales, un veterano de 3 años de la agencia, pero tiene 1 año en la patrulla. Él va a ser puesto en trabajo administrativo por un rato, y mientras que nosotros manejamos la investigación. Desafortunadamente 2 jóvenes perdieron su vida, pero fue a causa de decisiones de la parte de ellos. Entonces nosotros ahorita vamos a estar investigando este caso y les pedimos al público que tengan paciencia con nosotros mientras nosotros manejemos la investigación. Any questions for me? So we've got inside the vehicle that they're in. There's like at least some tools that we see. It looks like a little first aid kit of some sort. It's possible that those were already in this vehicle if it turns out to be stolen, but it's also possible that these were stolen along the way.
Was any other property damaged, like fences, houses?
They took out, it looks like there's a community trash can that they took out, and then some railing. So there's behind me, the vehicle's actually down in a ditch. Along the top edge of that ditch, there's a curb, and there was a railing. It looks like they sheared that railing off at the concrete. Anything else?
Okay.
Okay, thank you guys.